Should be back. I should be back. So it turns out the issue that I had was actually the router, the Ethernet cable that was plugged into the router had come apart from its adapter. It's two cables plugged together, and the issue was the connector had broken. Well, I say it's broken. So it's like an Ethernet. It's like a little dongle that connects two Ethernet cables together, and it sits right where the door is, and the door had shut on it, and it's kind of cracked the casing a while back. So unless the casing is clipped together, sometimes the cable falls out. So that's what had happened, and it had dropped over to Wi-Fi, and then the Wi-Fi was dodgy with the laser, causing interference. Anyway, we're back and we're live. So I've just run around, and I'm out of breath now. But now we are all cabled up again, and we are back. Okay, so as I was saying before, we are going to make a 3-tiered keyboard stand today. We're going to get Fusion out, we're going to bust out Fusion, we're going to sort all of that out, we're going to make some cool stuff in there, hopefully. And bear in mind, guys, I'm not a Fusion expert, I don't use Fusion very often, so this may be a slow kind of process. It might take me a little bit of time to get there, but I will try and show you what I do, and we'll get the laser cutter going. You can see we have the laser just over here on the other camera, just up there. And you can see where I was cutting stands out of wood. So I actually have some stands made out of wood that are just one tier effectively. So these came out pretty nice and neat, pretty clean. I'm using these in my office for my personal collection of keyboards. These ones aren't going to be for sale because they're not as strong as the acrylic ones. But today we are going to be using this wood to create some larger ones, the 3-tier ones. Oh, I'm really out of breath now after running around. I'm really out of breath now. Wow. I need to get fitter. I need to stop being quite so lazy and go to the gym a little bit more, I think. Please tell me about Anarchy and Bub. Please tell me that the stream is not lagging this time and that my quick 2-minute delay has rectified that issue. Please tell me that it's much better. Me too. Is that in reference to the gym? Like it's 30 yards and I ran it 4 times and I'm exhausted. Seems better so far, yeah. Well, it's fully on the wired connection this time. I think what must have been happening last time when I reset the router is the same thing must have been happening because I just checked the box and the crack in the box was open, so the cable wasn't quite plugged in on one side. So I think that was the issue. But yeah, oh well, 2 streams on the trot where we have issues, but anyway. Much cleaner quality? Good, glad to hear it. Meow says, still not completely out of lockdown. We're all allowed to be unfit for a little longer. I hope so. I actually have booked, not this month, but starting next month, a Pilates instructor to come around to the workshop 3 mornings a week and give me a lesson here in the workshop. She's going to come around 3 times a week, Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays for an hour each morning, and we're going to do Pilates in the workshop. And I might even stream that one day if she lets me. And maybe I'll stream it and you can watch me make a fool of myself. Maybe that's something we'll do. I don't know. Vox says, I'm so happy with the new stands. I suggested them in the feedback suggestions channel at the end of April. Already got them on my shelf. Unbelievable. Hey man, it was a good idea. I couldn't remember who'd mentioned it, but quite a few people asked me about it. A couple of people did it in public. I think you were one of them. And yeah, like it was a great idea. And we had one prototype. And then everything else has been off the second prototype. So we got there pretty quickly. So this was the first prototype. And I thought that was going to be big enough. But as you can see, it wasn't. It was quite a little bit smaller. So once I made them a little bit bigger, I think we adjusted the size by 25%. Perfect. So that's the size that we've gone with ever since. So I do need to remember that I need to increase the size on this next one that we're going to export shortly. So yeah. Yeah, so that will be amazing. Do you mean my Pilates lessons? Yeah, I'm interested because I've never done anything like that before. I'm really interested to see how it is. I'm not going to stream the first couple, obviously, but maybe I'll stream one of them one day just for the laugh. Just for the laugh, maybe. We'll see. We'll see. Aniki says, we'll need some for displaying my boards at the next meetup. Yeah, well, these will support up to a full size, so these will hold. If I don't knock things over, these will hold a full-size board, so they'll hold my Cherry G80s and whatever else I've got, they will hold them just fine. Like this is 15 centimeters across, plus a little bit extra, so they're probably closer to 20 centimeters with the thickness of the plastic. They're pretty wide, and they're really strong. Like you're not going to break them through putting something heavy on them. They can take up to 5 kilograms without an issue. So I've got some of these in wood that hold 5 kilograms without an issue, and that's softer than the acrylic is, so they're pretty sturdy. If you want to know what fell over, it was my playing card decks. I collect playing cards, and I just happened to just knock the edge of them, but oh well, all sorted. Yeah, the rods are pretty long. A lot of keyboard stands I've had in the past have only been maybe 6 or 7 centimeters wide. These are 15 centimeters wide, so they're pretty wide, pretty solid. Okay. So yeah, so that's the plan for today. We're going to jump into Fusion in a second. We're going to create something based off of the 1-tier stand, and then we're going to cut it in some plywood. So I'll show you the material we're going to use today. It's just bog standard plywood. He says, trying to lift it off the pile. Just bog standard plywood. We used this for the trays that we did the other week when we made a jig for the trays. So we just got loads of this left over. So we're just going to use this for the first couple. We're going to test it out, see how they go, and then if they work really well, they are going to be quite a bit more expensive than the 1-tier system. But if they work well, then we'll make multiple. Maybe I'll have a very small stock on the store of them as well. Maybe we'll have a very small stock. I don't know, haven't decided yet. I'm still out of breath. I'm still exhausted from running. Gouty, thank you so much for the follow, man. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that, dude. Really appreciate that. Thank you. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. I remember you coming on my stream a little bit ago, talking about my Vesticam. There it goes. There it goes. Gouty. Oh no, it's VoxGG is now following. There you go. Gouty, you might come up there a little bit if the API catches up with itself. But there you go. There you go. You might be on the Vesta board shortly. I'll leave that display up there anyway so you guys can see it, just in case it ticks around again. I only have to take it off if it's a sale, because it's a little bit dodgy, me showing sales on the side. Hugo, thank you so much for the follow, man. I appreciate that. Thank you so much, dude. Thank you. I don't deserve all you guys following and everything else. It's really kind of you. Is that a Datsun in the back? Yeah, this is my Datsun 620 pickup truck. This is 1974 Datsun 620 J15. Original engine, all stock running gear, everything else. Yeah, the API from Twitch is not great. So there's an open API that you can use, just standard, that pulls certain things out via IFTTT, and that will pull a couple of things from Twitch, including followers. Doesn't do subscribers, doesn't do barely anything else, and the delay on it is noticeable. Now, what I can do is I can actually use some of the Twitch hidden API, well, not hidden, but the Twitch APIs in general, to create a series of webhooks and use those, which I will do. I just need to get my head around it. I'm not a programmer or coder, so I need to really understand how that's going to work and get my head around it. And at some point soon, when you subscribe, it will show on the Vesta board, and when you donate, it will show on the Vesta board, and when you do bits and everything else, it will show on the Vesta board. I will get that working. I will. At the minute, it's followers only, but once I get there, I'll get there. You thought you'd followed before? Maybe. I don't know. Oxy says, evening Jay, keyboard stands arrived a few days ago and they turned out great. Thanks, man. Appreciate you like them. Thank you. Drakstar says, hi. Hey, man, good to see you. Feels Bra says, oh, cool. I have a 510 myself. So I have a couple of Datsuns. I have this one. I also have a Datsun Fairlady, a Z, 1976 model. So it's a 280Z from California. Sorry, not California, Arizona. It's an Arizona car, but it's here in the UK. It is left-hand drive, but it's my pride and joy. It took me years to restore it. I absolutely love that thing. I also have another, it's not a Datsun, but it's a vintage Nissan, which is a 1965 P130, which is actually the line that became the Cedric Stroke Gloria line. So there we go. Octagon, thank you so much for the subscription, man. Thank you so much. I do not deserve it. Go spend your money on something better, dude. Please. But thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. Muzarides is here. He says, hey Jay, super happy with the stands and loop station. Nice, man. Glad you got them. Glad you got them. I apologize if I didn't put a note in your order or anything. I get so many orders for the stands. We've sold 500 stands in like a week. every day I keep putting more of the black ones on because I had loads of black acrylics. So every day I keep putting like 20 more on in the morning, and by the afternoon they're almost all gone. I think there's like 5 left on the store right now or something. And I only put 20 on, so I could. Well, this is an example. This is just the left-hand sides. So this is what's been cutting all day. This is just the left-hand sides. So I've got a stack like that, 2 stacks like that. So they'll be back on the store tomorrow. Is the P130 still in transit? Yeah, it's still in transit. I say it's still in transit. It hasn't actually got on the ship yet. So it did have a bit of an issue. It had to go for a load of tests before they can ship it out of Thailand. This is like basically like an export to prove that it's going to be safe and reliable on the ship and all of that kind of stuff. So it was going for that test. And the day it went for that test, Thailand, or the area it's in Thailand, had the worst rainstorm they've ever had. And the road that the car was on flooded. The car flooded. The engine flooded. So right now, I actually have a little video on my phone of the guy who helped me buy it over there, paddling water out of the back seat of the car. Like it wasn't deep inside the car, but it was sat on the floor panels for about an inch. So he was paddling the water out. All of the electrics worked, but the car wouldn't start or turn over. So now the engine's being stripped down and rebuilt. It had bent and pushed a rod due to the extra pressure water inside the engine. So it was just bad luck. Like, it was hugely bad luck all around. It wasn't the guy's fault. He was just literally taking it to the test and then bringing it back so that he could actually export it and get all the paperwork signed off. And then the rainstorm hit and the road he happened to be on just flooded, and yeah. So the car at the minute is, the bodywork's fine, all of the carpet's been ripped out, the water has been drained away, there's no rust, there's no damage or anything like that. The paintwork's a bit dirty, but it'll all clean up and polish up nicely. New carpet is getting put in, and then the engine, basically the head of the engine's been pulled off, the pistons have been pulled out, the camshaft's been removed. The new camshaft has arrived there already. The new piston, rods and rings and everything else there should be there early next week. Then it'll be rebuilt, it'll be tested. Yeah, we'll see. Now, luckily, water didn't get into the block. If water had got into the block, then there would be bigger issues, because then that can introduce rust and all sorts of other issues. That didn't happen, thank God, so we're okay. It just needs new rods, new rings, new camshaft, and a new cover over the top, and new rocker cover, and then it'll be good, I think. So, that's what I'm going through at the minute. Spend all this money on a car I've never actually seen in person, and now I'm waiting for it to be fixed and repaired. Avifo, thank you so much for the follow. Thank you, man. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much, dude. I really don't deserve you guys following me or subscribing, but thank you so much. How available are parts for it? Luckily, if it was the car itself, it was like body panels, no. I'd have to have them custom made. Luckily, the engine is actually used in a series of other models. It's the standard L series Nissan engine, which is actually used in the Datsun that I have at home, the Datsun Fairlady Z. So the engine is pretty repairable. Like, parts of that are fairly okay to get hold of. Oxy, thank you so much for the subscription, man. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate that. You guys, I don't deserve you guys. I really don't. Thank you. Choki's here as well. He says, hello, boss. Hey, man. Good to see you. Rasmush, thank you so much for following. I really appreciate it, dude. Thank you so much. Congrats on the affiliate. Yeah, we got there in the end. Finally got there. Yeah, finally got there on this channel. It took a little while, but we got there. Finally. So we've just been recanting the story of the issue of one of my cars, which is, well, not having the best of times over in Thailand at the moment, but it will be here later on in the summer. I plan to have it on the road. I plan to have it here by the end of June. It should be on the road and all legal by the end of July, which means I'll have the whole of September and hopefully a bit of October to drive it around. And then I'll go into storage for the winter, and then next summer I have it pretty much all day, all year. All summer it will be out next year. But the 620 here, that needs a couple of things doing. The headlights are just about to be done. I'm waiting for the auto electricians next door to find a slot to be able to do that. Once the headlights are done to pass UK specification, then I can strip down the front end of this, because I want to rebuild the suspension. So I have like a whole kits part, because this doesn't have, well, it has standard suspension, but it uses kingpin joints instead of ball joints. So I wanted to rebuild it and make sure it's all good. So that's the job on this one. And this will be on the road in the summer as well. Hopefully before the Thailand car arrives here. Oxy says, how long does that freight journey last? 6 weeks. It's nearly 6 weeks. It's about 5 weeks and 3 days, plus a day of clearing customs here at this end as well. So it's about 6 weeks end to end. Yeah, it's a long old way. This car did the same journey back end last year. I bought this in this November, back end of November, and I got the car the first week in February. So it took a little while. Funny that lube gets profanity filtered. Does it? I didn't realize it did. Are you going to tell us the name of the switches yet? No, do you want to see the switches? I'm not sure I should, because I'm pretty sure that they're secret and I'm not supposed to show them yet. Should I show them? Do you want to see them? These are like a new switch that I can't really talk about yet. I'm not sure when I can even put them in the stock. Should I show them on stream? Let me grab a couple. Let me grab a couple. You should still be able to hear me as I walk over here. Let me find the box of them. Where did the box go? Here we go. Okay, I got some spares. Leaks. I mean, they're nice. They're nice. They feel good too. Linear or tactile? Yes. They are one of those two options. They are not a clicky switch, but they might be linear and they might be tactile. Who knows? Do you want to see? Should I show? Quite cute, translucent, a very, very pale blue. They are not ocean blues. These are not ocean blues. Rigio Technologies, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate that. Thank you so much, man. Thank you. These are not Acco ocean blues. You might be able to tell from how I press it whether it's linear or tactile. You might be able to tell from watching the actuation. You might be able to tell. They are really pretty switches. Like a group of them just looks great. Like, try and get it on the camera. There you go. They're not penguins. They're not some Frankenswitch. These are in stock. I have thousands of them. Like 15,000 of them. So I have plenty of these. Yeah, they're not Acco Ocean Blues though. Shoko vibes, yeah, they will match Shoko very, very well. They will match Shoko really well. They're not penguins though. With how much shipping costs have gone on nuts, has the cost of importing a car gone up? So importing a car is really interesting. There's two types of way you can import a car on a ship. You can either get a container, put the car in the container, and then ship the container, or you can use a RRRR, which is a roll-on, roll-off, RRRR, roll-on, roll-off, which is where the car's driven on, and then it's driven off the other side, like a ferry. And container shipping has increased prices significantly. Like what used to cost me £2,500 to ship in a container now costs me closer to £20,000. That's how much it is. Like when importing stock from China, instead of paying $2,500 for a container, I'm now paying 20 grand for that same container. Exactly the same container, no differences. The roll-on, roll-off, the RRRR ships, they have actually stayed about the same in price. So it's only about 2 grand-ish, £2,000 to get a car over. So yeah, it would actually be cheaper. This is the fun thing. It would actually be cheaper for me to buy something like a transit van in China, have all of the boxes loaded into the back of the transit van, and then roll on, roll off the car over on the RRRR ship and get that imported. That would be highly illegal, and I can't do it. But it would be significantly cheaper than current shipping prices, and that would include I'd get a free van, right? I'd get a free van, so that would be cheaper. Choke says, are group buy switches worth it over known top tier switches? That's up to you. That's up to you. Yeah. Phil Sprouse says, what's in the other cam? So in the camera, just up here, this is my laser cutter. Let's flick over to the other camera, you'll be able to see. So this is my laser cutter. We're going to actually be cutting some bits of wood later on, and I'll show you guys how that works. We're going to be cutting some plywood when we've done the design in Fusion. So we're going to do some Fusion design first, and then I will show you guys how the laser works. the uniqueness factor does make them appealing. Group buy switches are up to you. Like there's so many in-stock switches, you know, it's a take your pick type of choice there. So yeah. If containers are getting that expensive, why has that not been reflected in items sold? I think for a lot of stuff it has. For like a lot of things it has. So in terms of my business, the way it works is a lot of the stuff that we sold a year ago is now shipping, because that's just how long group buys take. And when I sold the stuff a year ago, the prices hadn't risen as much, so the prices didn't go up then. I'm betting now that the prices will go down before the stuff that's due to ship will ship, and if it doesn't, then I will just swallow the cost. Like that's all I have to do. I'll just have to swallow the cost. Martek says I need a bigger desk for my keyboard stands. Just buy more keyboard stands. Yeah. Vox says I just ordered some of the Aqua King switches, waiting for them to come. Nice. So thank you very much for being here, man. Good to see you, dude. Good to see you. I'm in the market for something satisfyingly thocky tactile. Well, I'm not sure if you saw how these depressed when I was pressing them, but you might be able to tell whether these are linear or tactile just from watching how they move when I press them. That might tell you whether it's linear or tactile. With a smooth, large bump. Interesting. Interesting. KP Republic, AliExpress, the top housings are too tight. Interesting. Seems like a big boy bump. Who knows? Who knows? Until I get them into stock, who knows? I haven't actually tried them in a keyboard build yet. These only came into the warehouse yesterday, so I haven't actually done anything other than have my assistant Mel split them into packs of 70, 70, 90, and 110. So Gouty, there you are. You are now immortalized, Gouts, on the Vesta board. So congratulations on that. You are now immortalized. Oh, and it's gone straight away. Someone else is going to be immortalized. Benty Vacuum, thank you so much. Ben the Vacuum 10. Thank you so much for the follow, man. Thank you, appreciate that. Thank you. Sorry if not everyone gets displayed on the Vesta board. I have got better APIs I'm going to use in the near future. Yeah, so I haven't tried the acoustics on these switches because I haven't used them as yet. Young Robin, thank you so much for the follow. Thank you very much, Young Robin Connoisseur. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. But once I can, I will do. I actually have some other tactiles that you might like coming in stock as well. So these are a little bit different. I can talk about these. But these are POM Duroc linears, also called sunflower switches. And these are all POM, like creams, but not creams. These are Duroc switches, and these are tactile as well. These have a really big bump on them. So there you go. You may be interested in those. These are really quite interesting switches. These are the POM. I can't talk about the other switches, the pale blue-grey switches, but these are sunflower switches. These will be in stock probably early next week. They're all bagged up, but they just need to be counted and everything else. So yeah. But I can't talk about these just yet. More news soon, but I can't talk about them just yet. MMWMC, thank you so much for the follow, man. I appreciate that, my dude. Thank you. Okay. So, what we need to do now is move over to the other camera and bring up Fusion so that I can show you guys exactly how we're going to work today. Okay. So you should be able to see Fusion now on stream, and you should be able to see the original shape of the keyboard stand. So this is the keyboard stand that we currently make and manufacture, which is this here. It's actually the other side that you can see on. Because they have a logo on, we have to make sure that they're on the right side, otherwise the logos will be back to front. So you can see here that they're actually cut in mirror images of each other, apart from the logo, which is changed around so that both sides show the logo in the correct orientation. New stands. Well, these are the stands that we've made before, and that's what you can see on stream right now. You can see the same stands that we've made before. But what we're going to do is we're actually going to create a 3-tiered system for these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to edit the sketch that these are on. And bear in mind that I am not a Fusion expert, so I'm not teaching you guys how to use Fusion here. I'm just going to show you how I am going to approach this problem. So because we're going to make these bigger, I know that I don't need the rear line or the base line for this keyboard stand. I have a reference point here in this corner. That's always going to be my reference point for where that flat horizontal line starts. I don't need to change that, but I don't need any of the other shapes here. So what I can do is I can remove all of the other shapes and just end up with what looks like a flat line running across the top of the stand. So for reference, that line there, that's selected and highlighted dark blue at the minute, that's this line here across the top there, just that little line there. And what we're going to do is we're going to actually replicate this part of the stand. Basically from here onwards, this swooping curve, and then up and then swooping up here, we're going to replicate that here, and we're going to put it on top of this part here. So we're going to take that shape and put it up here. So what we're going to do is we're just going to edit this sketch and just basically copy that shape across. We're just going to select the lines that we need. So we're just going to zoom in a little bit, hold down Control, click on the lines that we want to select. Make sure you get all of the lines. He says, not able to select this one. Zoomed in way too far there. Thank you, infinite scroll wheel. And then we're going to just grab the same lines up at the top because we want to make this a 3-tiered keyboard stand. Okay, so now what we've selected is that whole swooping shape here. So we've selected basically the line down, the line up, and then across here. And what we're going to do is we're going to just take that and we're just going to drop it onto the end of this line up here. So we're just going to literally copy and paste these in. And we're just going to move that up and move it across. And we're just going to line that up so it's nicely attached, he says. So you see, we're just going to attach this to there. It doesn't have to be perfect. This is just a prototype. I'll get it perfect later on if I need to. I'm just going to bob that across. We're going to just drop it down just a touch because we want it slightly below. Slightly below so we can put a radius in, just something like that. Then what we're going to do is we're just going to delete this line here, he says. Okay, so now we've moved that shape over, we're just going to delete that. Wait, where's that gone? Where's that gone? Okay, we hit the wrong button. We hit the wrong button. We still got on paste? There we go. Okay, so we're just going to move that again because we are an idiot. As I say, I don't use Fusion very often. I can barely wiggle my way through it at the best of times. Okay, and I'm not particularly accurate with it, but hey, we're good. So we're going to move it to about here, and then all we're going to do is put a radius on this corner here, just to make sure it's all aligned nice and neatly. So what we're going to do is we're just going to click OK. We're going to leave that there. You can now see that we've basically got 2 stand shapes going up and up again. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to join these 2 together nicely. Now to do that, what I'm going to do is just delete that line. I'm going to insert a new line, but I'm going to extend it further than it needs to be. So we're going to have a nice horizontal line. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete, well, I'm going to extend this line first. And I'm just going to extend it until it joins onto there. There we go. Now what we can do is we can delete this line here, and we can just join the 2 together. The next thing to do is just add a radius on to the bump, so where it goes from one into the other, we're just going to add a radius onto that corner, and we can use that with the radius tool just here. We select the 2 sides, and we're just going to keep all of the radiuses that we use the same, which is 2.4 mil. And that'll have a nice little fillet radius onto there as well. So now you can see that we've got a smooth curve that joins those 2 together. Now we've done that, we know that we've got 2 lines here, so we can just delete the 2 lines. We've got 1 line there and 1 line there that's straight. We can just replace that with 1 line. Otherwise, when the laser's cutting, it will do 2 lines. It will see them as 2 distinct shapes. So we're just going to redraw that and make it as 1 line. And we should have that as a 30-degree angle. And you can see there, it is a 30-degree angle. So there we go. Let's just catch up with chat. The Vesta board is so satisfying. Dude, like, I love hearing that thing tick around. Like, it's so cool. Whenever I get a sale or someone drops me an email and it updates, it's so much fun. So much fun. What file format do you need for your laser? Basically anything that's a line drawing. So DXF files work really well. SVG works okay. Anything that's a vector graphic works really well. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Is that one 20% larger than the original, considering you did enlarge it on the cutter software? No, it's not. I'll just enlarge it on the cutter software again, Anarchy. I could scale it in Fusion, but Fusion actually crashed last time I tried to do this on it because there's so many points and radiuses on it. So I'm just going to do it in the laser software because it's faster, especially for stream. So it's fine. I feel like I'm back in CAD lectures at unis, but I'm 100 times more interested. Well, I mean, the interesting thing is I'm not a CAD expert. Like I basically learned from speaking to James and teaching myself, and I can do a few bits and pieces, but I'm not an expert by any way, shape or form. So everything I do is kind of made up, I guess. Kind of made up. Yeah, it is what it is, but it's fine. It works. Presumably the high length center of gravity will necessitate a longer base. Yeah, so what you've got to imagine is if we were doing 2 keyboard stands, effectively what I'm creating is that shape, right? But the vertical part is going to come down here where my hand is and then across. So we've got this huge square that now needs to be part of the stand as part of the material. And we've got to actually double that and triple it because of the next stand that's going to go up. So you'd have another square here, another square there. So you've got 3 of those big chunky squares that's going to impact the size of it. So yeah, it's going to be a big, big, big boy. If it works, it works. Oh, Vesta Bud's going. Let's sell on the Vesta cam. Oh, I can't show you that one. It's a sale. That's a sale on the site. I shouldn't show you that one. I shouldn't show you. Like, there's nothing you guys can see or do if it's there, but like, I really shouldn't show you. It's not fair. If it works, it works. Hey man, yeah, that's exactly it. Like, I can just about get by in Fusion. Is CAD 2D or 3D? Fusion can be both. So at the minute I'm just editing a sketch in Fusion, and a sketch makes it a 2D plane that we're adjusting. But we could absolutely adjust things in 3D if we wanted to. Just don't need 3D for a laser cutter. Okay, so back in Fusion, now we've got one in. What we're going to do is we're going to add the second one in, and we're going to do exactly the same process. So I'm just going to paste another row in, and we're just going to move this one up. And as you can see, we've got that nice, lovely shape there. Now, what I'm actually going to do is actually, do you know what? I'm going to undo that. And the reason I'm going to undo that is because I'm just going to copy this line and paste this line. Well, I'm just going to check how long this line is first. So this line is 7.294 millimeters, which is fine because it's 8 millimeters end to end. It's just the radiuses that are taking off of that. So what I want to do is I'm going to draw a line horizontally across here. So we're just going to come up to this top part. I'm just going to draw a line horizontally. I'm just going to leave it there. So now we've got a horizontal line that we need to match. And basically all we're going to do is we're going to make sure it's exactly the same position for the next one, which was 7.294 centimeters. So then we can paste in the parts that we've copied again, and we can move these up again. So you can see that we're creating this shape on top again. We're going to zoom back in. All I'm going to do is just make this the right position. So this will be about there, I think. We're going to hit enter and click OK. And then all we're going to do is we're going to delete this line. We're going to draw in our new line. That should be, oh, it's not horizontal. Okay, so we're not going to do that actually. So let's undo this. I thought we got that horizontal. Just undo that. Okay. This is, as I told you guys, I am not a master of this. I learn on the fly when I do these things. Okay, so let's make that 7.294 millimeters in length. Let's do that first. There we go. Okay, so then we're going to paste in those again. Now we're going to drag them up. We're going to move it across. And then we're just going to drop this just underneath, just like so. So now it's in place, we're going to click OK, we're going to leave that there. This is exactly how we did the previous one. What we're going to do is we're just going to delete this line here, even though we know it's the right length, we're just going to delete it. We're going to join a new line that's horizontal, and this will allow us to just make sure we get the right lines in place. I'm going to delete that line as well. In fact, actually no, we're not. We're going to just adjust that line up to here, keeping the same angle. Delete this line that we put in. Rejoin the two lines across. And then we're going to add in our radius, which is 2.4 that we use on all of these. Then we're going to delete the two parts of this straight line here, just like so. And then we're going to rejoin them together. We get a nice 30-degree angle that way. And we keep the line nice and flat. So now we've done that, we can start to see how big this stand's going to be. So we're going to add our line back at the top, our horizontal line that we need for the top part. And this was actually 10 millimeters that we had on the original. So put that line back in. And what we can do now is we can just draw a line across from the bottom on this point here. And we just want a nice horizontal line that's going to go past where we need it to. And then we can just join the top case back down to this line, perfectly square, get it at 90 degrees, delete the bottom line, and then rejoin those two lines up. Okay, Vestaboard is updating. I kind of missed showing you guys that, but let's show you what it says. Tinkertronic says, laser go pew, math make brain go ouch, plywood smell nice when burned. There you go. There you go. Half staggered instead of one on top of each other. Yeah, this is just because this is how I was asked to do it. So I was asked to do one that tiered them 3 up rather than staggered heights. So I'm just doing this to comply with a customer request, not exactly how I would necessarily want it. Dang Dynasty, thank you so much for the subscription, man. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thank you, man. Thank you so much. Iwane, thank you very much for being here. I appreciate you. Visionaire as well, thank you very much for being here. Gio says, I would want the stand to be staggered, would see half the middle and top board. So these aren't staggered, this is kind of like to just, it is still staggered because the boards are always going to go past the top of here. Like this isn't the height of a board. The boards will always go past the top, so they're going to stand proud of that. Let me find a board, let me grab a board and show you. So when a board's set on here, the board goes higher than the stand, so you're always going to see the next board is slightly behind the board a little bit. Slightly behind the board below. There you go. Young Roman Connoisseur, thank you very much for the follow. There you go. Vestaboard relating. Oh no, it's going again. It's going again. Vestaboard goes nuts, guys. MMWMC, thank you very much for the follow again, dude. There you go. Now immortalized on the Vestaboard. Whoa, JK, thank you so much for the Prime subscription, man. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That is a Vestaboard, my dude. That's a Vestaboard. I don't know how many founder badges you get left, Oxy. I really don't know. I don't know. Tinkertronic always spits straight facts. He's such a good guy. He's such a good guy. Okay, so going back into Fusion then. So now we've got the top and the rear. All we need to do now is we need to create our radii for the corners again. So we're just going to drop those in here. And again, we just want to change those to 2.4 millimeters just because they look nice on the stands. And that's what I like everything to be the same, and that's what all of the curves elsewhere on this are. So we're just going to change them all to 2.4 millimeters. That's what felt the best. Oh, is that a subscription? Lord of Sarcasm, thank you so much for the subscription, man. Thank you, man. Stop spending money on it, guys. Go spend your money elsewhere, not on me. Not on me. I don't deserve it. It looks like that hit the hype train, though. Wow, thank you. First ever hype train on the stream, guys. Wow. I feel honored. I feel honored. Okay, now we just need to add the radius in for this top corner. We're going to change that to 2.4 as well. And boom. We now have our completed 3-tier stand. Wait, what's that noise? Ding Dynasty, Dang Dynasty, thank you so much for the 5 gift subs. Thank you, dude, thank you. So Captain James, Forest Kokai, Visionaire, AKB James, Pew Pew Laser, thank you so much, guys. Rasmus, thank you so much for the Prime subscription as well, man. Wow, dude, I did not deserve that. Thank you so much. I don't even have the words, but thank you so much, man. Thank you, I really appreciate that. I don't think we've even got that many viewers right now. Save money and buy keyboards. Yeah, just buy keyboards off the store, right? Wow, thank you. Thank you so much, guys. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you. See, I know what's going to be happening. James has got a subscription, and James is going to be watching me thinking, why the hell is he doing it this way in sketches? Why is he doing the sketch this way? Why is he making it like that? What on earth is he doing? I just know that's what James is thinking. I just know that's what he's thinking. Okay, so we've created our stand-in fusion. Now, the next thing we need to do is consider where we're going to put the points for the screw holes, right? Because we do have some original holes for the screws. We've got some 3.5mm holes here and here as well. And we need to make sure that those are kind of replicated. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do exactly the same point and put them elsewhere on the build as well. Wait, is that another? Hot Lemon Tea, thank you so much for the subscription, man. Guys, stop the subscriptions. Gouty getting straight facts here. Captain James thanking Dang Dynasty, there we go. Hot Lemon Tea, thank you so much for the tier 1 sub, man. Thank you. I genuinely appreciate it, guys. More than I can tell you. 100% more than I can tell you, like, thank you. Okay, right, time to put the rest of our mounting holes in. So just to clarify, if you look in the face cam here, you can see these little mounting holes. That's where the screws go, basically. So what we're going to do is we're going to put some screw holes in this new version in a few more places. How are the metal rods made? Yeah, they're CNC metal rods. So the metal rods that we use here, these are threaded, well, they're actually lathed, not CNC'd, but, well, they're not milled, they're lathed. They're probably still CNC'd, but you can have different types of CNC. That's just computer numerical control. Technically, the laser is a CNC laser cutter because it's computer numerically controlled. But the rods are basically aluminium that is turned on a lathe to make them perfectly round, and then they're threaded on both ends with a 3.5 standard threading. So yeah, there we go. I don't make these in-house or anything like that. I'd buy these pre-made, but yeah, they are aluminium. Okay, so back into Fusion. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to make sure that we've got some more of our holes in the right places, shall we say. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw a horizontal line from the center of this hole all the way through to the back case. We're just going to keep that completely horizontal, and we're just going to draw that line in place. And then we're going to do the same from the center of that circle all the way over to the far back wall. We're just going to keep those lines perfectly straight. The next thing we're going to do is we're just going to draw a line from where we want the next one to be. So it's going to go in the center of this gap here. So we're just going to zoom in a little bit, and we can see that the previous one is, yes, about here. I'm just going to draw down. That's going to give us a new reference point for that one there. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to put the next one just around in the center here. So what we're going to do is zoom in. We're just going to pick the center point, which is there. And we're just going to scroll down. Okay, that gives us some new points to put some more mounting tools in. So then what we're going to do is we're going to zoom in. In fact, actually what we're going to do is just extend this line all the way down to the bottom, and that will show us exactly where we need it to be on this secondary line as well. So then we're going to copy the circle that we have, which is the right size hole. We're going to come to this point here. In fact, we don't, do you know what, we're not going to copy it. We're just going to create new circles. So we're just going to do new ones, which are 3.5, type that over, hit enter, and then we have a new circle there. And then we're going to do another one up at the top here. So we've got our center points. We're just going to do 3.5, and hit enter. We've got a new one there. And we're going to come over here, do the same, 3.5. Okay, and now what we have is we have 1, 2, 3, 4 mount points on the where the stands are going to go. We're going to have 1 point in the back corner, which means we have 2 on the rear and 2 on the base. And that should be enough to hold it solidly. What I'm tempted to do is, if it needs it, I'll put another one right in the very center of the square gap. So what I may do, if the prototype doesn't go well, is put one pretty much dead center around this point here, somewhere around there, just to support the central kind of function. But I think this is going to be strong enough as it is. Now we can go away and delete all of our straight lines, because we don't need those anymore. We don't want to cut those in. Okay, and now we've got all of that in place, we can finish the sketch. And there you go, guys, you can see the shape that we are going to cut. That is going to be the shape of our keyboard stand. And all we need to do now is export that. So we're going to export it as a DXF. We're going to save it to our desktop, and we're going to call it Tier 3 stand. And that's it. That's all of the time we need to spend in Fusion today, assuming that it works. Okay, so thank you very much, Choo Choo. Do you buy the rods off the shelf? Yeah, the rods I buy as they are. They come like this. I can only buy them in packs of 20, so I have to buy a pack of 4. So it's actually 80 that I get, but they come in packs of 20, and each pack has 4 in. But yeah, I have to buy them like that. I could commission having some made, but I only need about 1,000 realistically. I'm not going to sell more than 1,000 keyboard stands, so I'm probably not going to buy, like, commission having loads made. Just noticed your sub badges. Did I do those yourself? I didn't. No, a friend of mine did those for me. But yeah, the sub badges are pretty cool. Wait till you see the later months, but the sub badges are pretty cool. Okay, so now we've got the design. We've exported it from Fusion. We can save this. And we have a design in there. We don't need Fusion anymore, so we're going to close that down. We do not need any more Fusion. What we do need, though, is Lightburn, which is our laser cutting software. So I'm going to show you guys Lightburn now. And what we can do in Lightburn is we can import the file that we've just created in Fusion, and we can actually make a keyboard stand, he says. So, or I would do it if I could find it. There it is, there's a file. I'm just going to drop that in. In fact, now it's opening Adobe Illustrator. I don't want to do that. I must have double clicked it by mistake. Typical Jay. Okay. Go away, Illustrator. I don't want. Right, Illustrator's gone. So now I'm just going to drag and drop the file in. So you can see it's come through, it's upside down, we can fix that. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to rotate that. So we're going to arrange it, and we're going to rotate it 90 degrees clockwise, and we're going to rotate it another 90 degrees clockwise, and then you can see we have one side of the stand. So that's going to be the left side of the keyboard stand. And I'm just going to move that as a whole. To about there. Then what we're going to do is we're going to select that whole part, we're going to copy it, we're going to paste it, and then we're going to flip this one. But we're basically going to mirror it. So we've got the mirror side of it. We're then going to move this one so it's in line with the first one. We're going to put it relatively close. Okay, there we have 2 keyboard stands. I'm going to put that right up to the point of the laser where it can cut it nicely, which is just about there. The first thing we're going to do now is we're going to set our material that we're using for this. So I have a plywood 6mm cut marker. That's the colors across the top that you can see in the software. Those alternate different parameters for different materials. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to cut those. Next job is to just add a logo. So we're going to add in our logo. I'm going to use the full prototypist text for this one, and we'll see how that goes. Okay. This is just going to be the prototypist logo that we're just going to drag and drop. Going to make that slightly bigger. And we're going to put that just in here. Maybe make it a touch smaller. Actually, these are going to be quite big. Don't want it to be too big. We're just going to touch that down and put it in the bottom, just like so. And then what we're going to do is we're actually going to select that again, and we're going to copy that. And we're going to put the same thing just here. So we're going to make sure it's leveled when it's the same height. And there you go, we can see we've got those. We're now just going to select both of these, and we're going to select these and turn them into a wood etch. So I have an etch setting for wood. That's why you'll see that they're red rather than the white line. The white line means it's going to cut. The red line means it's going to etch, he says. Okay. So you can see we've got a left side and a right side. So the logo is going to read the same whichever way around we put the stands. So you're always going to be able to see the logo and it's going to cut nicely. We're going to make sure we do the edge first, and we're going to move that to the top. I heard a noise then, so who was that? Randall Bolts, thank you so much for the subscription, man. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I thoroughly appreciate it. Thank you. And you can see that now we've put on the right-hand side of the screen, you can see there's two colors and two bars on the right-hand side. That's got the red bar at the top, and then it's got the gray bar underneath. That means we're going to do the etch first, and then we're going to do the cut. Hey, man, I've got to appreciate people. I've got to appreciate people. Okay, I would think the space the front edge the keyboard rests on would need to be larger, otherwise the keyboard in front is going to interfere with the ones behind. It shouldn't do because they're all on a 70-degree angle, so it shouldn't do. You've got to remember that where these are going to touch is it's going to come up here. No board's going to be that thick, I don't think. That's pretty deep. And if it doesn't work, hey, that's why we prototype. We learn from the mistakes and we can adjust it later on if we need to. That's the whole point. That's the whole point. Let's try it and see. Let's try it and see where we get to. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. We've just messed up a little bit of material. You think Annecy is 100% correct? Maybe. We'll see. We'll see. We've got to fail fast, guys. We've got to try it to fail to learn. We've got to try it to fail to learn. That's how things go. So if you think about this, though, guys, how it's going to be set up is you've got basically got this shape, and then you have this shape on top. Now, if you look at how that's set, if I can hold it in position, the board would have to be very thick to actually catch on that. I think it's going to be okay. And if it's not, we'll adjust it. That's why we prototype. Presumably there's no need to distance the wood from the cutting bed since you're not going for a glassy edge. Correct, I don't need to distance the wood from the edge. So you'll see that I'll take out the little standoffs when we get to that point as well. This is going to be a big boy stand. Yeah, it's going to be huge. It's going to be huge, but hey, the stream would, let me put it this way, guys, the stream would be really boring if I did this and it worked first time, right? It'd be very boring. The glass green stands will be back in stock in a couple of weeks. Yeah, they'll be back. Yeah. Really regret not grabbing one of the glass green stands. Yeah, they're going to come back, don't worry. Don't worry, they'll be back. Yeah, but just bear in mind, guys, that if this worked first time, if this worked exactly perfect first time, I wouldn't be able to show you how we learn and iterate, right? Just bear that in mind. We're all good. Glass green is by far the best. Wait till you see the atomic purple ones. Dude, I did like a test atomic purple one. It's at home at the minute, but the atomic purple ones came out so good. Like, they are really nice. They're really nice. Okay, so let's test this out and see how it goes. We're going to cut this on the laser cutter. So now we've got light burn all sorted. I'm going to remove that. You'll see now that I just need to come over to the laser cutter, take these standoffs out because we don't need these. Just going to move the laser out of the way. We're going to take our piece of material. We're going to pop this in to the laser cutter. Now we're going to set the height of the material. So we've got our focus laser tool. You can see here we've got our tool, and the laser needs to be exactly the height from here to the base of the material. So if we stand it on the material, the laser needs to sit on that ledge. And that's how we determine that we've got the correct focal height. So you can see here that the material is way too low, so we need to raise that up. If I can reach around. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to raise up the cutting edge. Probably can't see it moving. Just going to make sure that's just touching there. We're going to move it to the center of the material, make sure it's still good. All looks good. So now we've got the focal height of the laser. We're good to cut. Now I'm going to send over the file over to the laser cutter. So now the laser has the file. What we're going to do is just going to check the settings on the laser, make sure it understands exactly how it's going to cut things. And then we're going to frame the design. What the laser is going to do now is it's going to draw an outline of where that part's going to cut. So you can see how big these are going to be now. I'm going to get one stand out of one sheet of material. So we're going to turn on the light just so you can see where the laser goes. That's where the part's going to cut. It's going to be a chunky boy. So now we've tested all of that, all we need to do is set it going. And as I say, it's going to do the etching first. It's going to etch in the logo first. And then once it's etched in the logo, it's then going to cut around the whole shape on the outside. I wonder what these would look like in iridescent acrylic. I've done some in black acrylic just here, and some in glass green acrylic, which is my favorite. This is going to be the stock standard color. But yeah, I do have some other acrylics that I can try in the future. So you'll start seeing now that the actual laser is going to focus in there. Let me see, guys, if I can find the other stand in a moment. I'm just going to wash my hands as well because these have a bit of grease on them, so I'm just going to get the grease off my hands. Give me 1 second, guys. Okay, sorry if the noise of the tap is loud. I just need to rinse this grease off the stands off my hands. And then we'll be able to see how the laser's coming along, which you guys can see, of course. I can't because I'm around the corner now. I apologise if this tap's really loud as well, guys. Let's see how that's coming along. Okay, you can start to see the two logos coming through now. I still need to design my stands, Jay, and I'm 100% using copper hardware. Copper with the atomic purple, good choice, man, good choice. Can't wait for the atomic purple ones, get it matching my loop station. Yeah, the atomic purple ones will be soon. I didn't have enough material to cut loads, so I've only cut one, which is a personal one, but I will cut a load more as soon as the rest of it arrives. There you go, guys. You can start to see the logos coming through nicely now. Just about make out that prototypist bit at the bottom. I'll turn off the red laser. I'll just zoom in a little bit for you. There you go. So you can see how it's creating that. You'll see the little sparks across where it starts to burn the wood each time. Like, it smells divine, actually. It smells really nice. The stands don't work with Alice-shaped boards, no. They're actually too low, so what happens is the dip in the Alice board actually hits the desk underneath because these aren't particularly tall. I could create some that would be Alice enabled, but they'd actually have to be a lot taller, so it wouldn't be quite as nice as aesthetic as this. So yeah, we could do that. If you wanted something like that, Siantho, then you could always message me, drop me an email, j@prototypist.net, and I could create you one. I could make you one that would do. You could put the stand on a small riser, but it'd be easier to just make one that works, right? Just make one that's right. TPU feet that slip on. Yeah, we could print some. We could 3D print some. The 3D printer is actually printing right now. I wonder if I can share with you the 3D printer doing what it's doing. Let me see if I can actually do that. I could have a 3D printer cam on. Let me see. Let me see what I can do with this. I might be able to turn on a little camera that does 3D printing. And you can see the 3D printer running around in the corner as well. Let me see if I can get that up. I'm not promising, but I'll see if I can. let me see if I can get this out. I might be able to. Have to basically log into the camera stream. Okay, so I've got the camera stream up. Let me see if I can share that with you. I'll see if I can. That'd be quite cool because you can see that I've got quite a few things going on there. Okay, let me add a browser source. This is going to be really janky, guys, because I'm going to try and do this at the same time. There you go, guys. There is the 3D printer working its way. How magic is that? How magic is that? But a 3D printer working away live. That is live image as well. If I go over to the 3D print and I wave my hand, you'll see that happen. It'll probably be delayed by about 10-15 seconds, but you will see it happen. I hope that came up. I hope you actually saw me wave my hand under it. Like, let me know if you didn't see that. Oh, Vesta board going. Rule 0, don't be on fire. Rule 0A, don't let things be on fire, right? Didn't seem delayed at all. Okay, usually it's literally no delay. Wow. Wow, there you go. Cook steaks with a laser cooker. I could, but it'd be crap, right? It'd be really crap. It'd be really, really crap, but you could do it. Am I planning to have permanent camera setups around the workshop? Not camera setups, but what I'm going to have is stands that have cameras in certain positions. So for the laser, they're actually going to be, what you can't see is the actual, or you might just be able to see this red dot just here. That's the edge of the laser. I'm going to mount a camera to the inside of that, so we'll get a top-down view. And I'm just going to put a mount there, and I'll just put the camera onto the mount each time. This mount here for this camera is going to say where it is. Both the 3D printers have cameras already. I'm going to jury rig a camera for the, because you can see this tall pole here, that's where the cameras are right now for the laser cutter and for the Vesta board. But over on this far wall, you see this bar that runs across? I'm going to mount a camera to that, which is going to look directly at the Vesta board, and that's going to be permanently turned on. So yeah, so we're not going to have permanent cameras all around the workshop. We are going to have cameras around the workshop that can be moved and changed. Now, when I finish off building my streaming table, which the parts are over there for, the cameras will all mount to that as well. So the face cam and everything else will mount it. So wherever I go in the workshop, I'll be able to take you guys with me, and you guys will be able to see. So we'll be able to do all sorts of stuff around the workshop. Instead of just being in this one position, you guys will be able to see the rest of the workshop. I could probably spin the camera and show you, but there is a light in the way at the minute. Let me turn the light off and move it out of the way, and I'll show you guys the rest of the workshop. So if you're looking at the face cam right now, this is the rest of the workshop. There's the light you can ignore, but that's where we do all the packaging and QC, just here. There's my other car in the back corner. And then we have all of the shelves around here as well. So that's the workshop. So there we go. So I'll be able to take you guys all around the workshop and show you 1,000 different things that we work on. The PT logo looks really good in wood. Yeah, it comes out really nice. It comes out really nice. I'll zoom the camera back out actually. So you can see these are going to be chunky boy stands. It smells really strongly of wood now. Like the door's supposed to be closed for this really. It should really be closed. 6mm plywood. $6mm plywood. You can see the smoke. That is smoke. It's not on fire, but it is smoke. It's smoldering. So what you can't see is that the 3D printers are actually in cages. They're actually, so I don't need to use a dry box because the 3D printers have heated elements. They're in heated boxes. So the boxes are always kept at a balmy 22 degrees Celsius. They're always kept to a dry standard, and they have pressure gauges and all sorts in there as well to tell me if the air is moist or damp or whatever. So I don't need a dry box, but I don't need one. I don't need one because they're in a dry environment inside the cages that I use, which are basically old server cabinets that I've retrofitted and insulated to make sure that they work. You can see the insulation, the silver shiny surface, that's the insulation in there. I do have a bunch of rolls of filament, yeah. And I don't open rolls until I use them, no. Correct. Oh, why is it cutting that line twice? It's not supposed to cut that line twice. Interesting. But there we go, guys. We've now cut these. Someone said, has it really cut? Well, here's the test. If I lift this up, what happens? Oh, yeah, you can see it's cut pretty cleanly. And there we go. It's all gone. Okay, so I'm going to flip the cameras back around. So you can see now, guys, that we have a 3-tiered stand. Prototype. This is a prototype, remember, guys. Just to compare the original. It's a bit of a big boy. It's a bit of a big boy. Cut out at the front, looks a little thin. No, it's the same size as that. It's rock solid. That's not going to go anywhere. Like, it's going to be more than fine. It's going to be absolutely fine. But this is cut all the way through, 6mm plywood, nice edge on it, not too burnt either. You can get it so it actually turns it black, but as you can see here, it's pretty clean. Same here, pretty clean all the way around. You can see the bonding layer has burnt a little bit more. Shout out to Pat, thank you so much for the subscription, man. I thoroughly appreciate that. Thank you so much, dude. There's half a heart there. There's the heart. Thank you very much. Thank you. There we go. So MSSSB, thank you so much for the follow. Gerald Juby, thank you so much for the follow as well. You can see that it's MSSB. You are immortalized up on the Vesta board until someone else messages through. But thank you, Shout out to Pat. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. There's a TikTok guy called Mahal Designs. He's got a few really cool 3D printers, prototypes you should check out. Thanks, man. I will do. I love 3D printing. Like, I 3D print a lot. I've just realized that I haven't added the source to here. So let me add that source to here. There we go. Let's just make that a little bit smaller. And you guys can see the 3D printer going there. There we go. We've got cameras everywhere. Cameras all around the workshop. Maybe we should do a latte cam for when I make my coffee, right? A latte cam or something. Poplar, I assume you mean not popular. Poplar plywood is super easy to laser versus birch. This is birch. This is birch plywood. It comes out great. It's dead easy. The logo comes out super crisp. Super nice. Envious Media, thank you so much for the follow. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I just realized that the alert box needs to be above the 3D printer. There we go. There we go. I may as well follow since I've watched a few streams. Thank you very much. Thank you. So it doesn't really char as such. I mean, it burns a little bit, but it's going to burn anyway. It's a laser. What it does do is it chars the adhesive bond between the layers. That's what makes a dark line. So yeah. Okay, so now we've got the two halves. We can see it's going to go like that. Let's time to just screw this together and see how we go. I'm just going to grab a few screws. These are M3.5 by 8mm. And let's grab a screwdriver and see if we can put this together and see if it holds together. T-Soib, I don't know how to pronounce that, 10. Thank you so much for the follow. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. You may pop up on the Vesta board. I can't control it, unfortunately. The API is rubbish. I'm going to get some better ones sorted out. How much does the laser cutter cost? This one was about 5,000 British pounds, all including taxes. It's a very, very cheap one, but it does what I need it to do. If I was going to buy a Trotec, which is what I'm looking at, then I would be looking in the region of about 50,000 pounds for the same one. Glendale Sue, thank you so much for saying you're here for the beard. Gotta love the beard. Right, let me grab a screwdriver and let's put this together and see how the stand works. And then I guess I'm going to have to go and grab some keyboards so we can test the stand out. I didn't think of that before. Okay. No, a 50k laser will not cut aluminium, no. For aluminium cutting, you need 100,000 pound laser. Like, laser cutting that kind of material is not cheap. Okay, so I'm just going to assemble this stand. Just going to lightly screw it together at the minute. I'm just holding the screws in place while I tighten the bars. And then once this is all in place, we'll put on the other side. So now we've got one side done, we're just going to pop the other side on. This is where we have to start to use the screwdriver. Just going to screw that in lightly. I'm going to go around and make sure we get all of the points in. Nothing really to watch here, guys. I'm just putting the screws in. It's dead simple stuff. Okay, screw all these down tightly now that they're all thumb tight in. Okay, last screw. And here we have a 3-tier keyboard stand. It feels pretty rigid. I don't think it needs a central support one. I did wonder if it'd need a central support column, but that feels pretty strong. Enough to take the weight where the keyboards are going to be. Plenty of rigidity at the back, plenty of rigidity across the base. If we wanted to, what we could actually do, we could actually do like a stepped pattern across here and actually put a proper base on it. Make something like this. Something like this for the base, where you can see this stepped pattern here. Excuse the crack at the end where I broke it, but step pattern like that, and we could actually do that into the wood as well if we wanted to make it like a full solid stand. But this works pretty well. This works really well. Very, very happy with that. The test now is, does it fit 3 keyboards on it? That's going to be the real test. So I'll have a test of that in a minute. I'm not a fan of laser cutting alum. It depends on what you're doing with it. Like, some things it's good for. That probably explains the cost of getting metals cut. Yeah, that's why you get charged 50 quid for a plate from Laser Boost, right? Because they have a £100,000 laser. You can get better options that does more for metal when you hit those prices. You can, it's true, you can. Are you going to use the aquacolor material again for anything? The aquacolor, which, do you mean the green glass? Yeah, the green glass is going to be the stock color for these. These are going to be back in a couple of weeks' time. I've got more material on the way, if that's the color that you mean. Captain James says, do you have a bench you could show from the Prusa? Ordered one in a couple of weeks, once removed, already ordered the Pi 4 Octoprint. So I have, you can see actually in the 3D print box, you can see a little blue square in the bottom corner. That's my Raspberry Pi. Each one has its own Raspberry Pi, and I do run OctoPi from there as well. But yeah, I can grab a bench and I can show you a few. I do one in pretty much every new color that I print. Let me grab a couple of different materials and show you. Okay, so I've got a couple of benches here. This is PET G. These are completely untreated. This is straight off the printer bed. PET G. This is PLA. This is Galaxy Black PLA. So there's no post-processing. You can see a slight bit of stringing there in the window. No post-processing at all on these. And then this is the current status. This is the latest bench that came off. Again, zero post-processing on this. Zero post-processing on that at all. That's just straight off the printer bed. Pretty good. I can actually show you something else that I printed, which came out really nice. It has had a little bit of post-processing, so you can see what it looks like after it's been post-processed ever so slightly. This is a puzzle from Maker's Muse, and this is an egg puzzle. It's not solved at the moment, but this is slightly, I say slightly, it's very, very ever so slightly post-processed, and by that, all I've done is just go over with the heat gun. But you get these amazing parts, so you can see that this is like a puzzle that all slots together. And this is the kind of level of quality you get on the print. This is in Galaxy Purple filament. This is Prusament. So this is no sanding or anything else. This is just heat gunned off of the machine. So there we go. This is just something I 3D printed, James. We're just talking 3D printers at the minute. This is an egg puzzle I printed off of Maker's Muse. You can see just how good this is, print-wise. This is really good quality, and it's that smooth that everything spins as it should. Like there's very little friction there. It moves nicely. But that's the kind of quality you can get out of a 3D printer. So that's what it looks like, slightly post-processed. This is with no post-processing. This is the standard stock Benchy, straight off of the machine as it's currently calibrated. So there you go. You can get some really nice details. The Prusas are amazing for the value for money. Mustard Overlord, thank you very much for the follow. I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much, dude. Quality is amazing. It's really good. So much cleaner than the Ender benches end up quite stringy. Yeah, like I have an Ender 3 and I could never get it to print correctly, and I thought it was just me. And then I got the Prusa, and the quality I get out of this is unbelievable. Unbelievable. It's just so good. The one you used for, sorry, going back to the aqua color, the one you used for the lube station and the case you just showed. The lube station and case I just showed? Do you mean that color? The aqua green, the glass green? That's going to be the stock color. That's going to be the stock color. There's going to be, every time I can make some, they're going to be in stock in that color. Envious Meaty says there's a Datsun 620 in the background. Yes, this is my Datsun 620 right-hand drive 1974 model J15. James, love you, man, love you. You would have cringed when you would have seen my fusion skills earlier on making this behemoth of a stand. This is a 3-tiered keyboard stand we're going to test out in a minute with 3 keyboards. Make sure it works. Oh, the thing that I hold the cards in. Probably not going to use this material again, no. The reason is it only comes in 3mm thick, and it's not really strong enough for a keyboard stand. I'd want them to be 5mm thick at the very least, so I'm probably not going to use it again, no. I do have some loop stations in that color though, but they're not great. Again, only 3mm, it's not great. It's not the best thickness. Aniki says he means a card. Thank you, Aniki, thank you. I was miles away, yeah. Are you only using Prusa filaments or other bands? I only use Prusament. I only use Prusament. That's the only filament I use. My favorite is probably the Galaxy Black, just because it's sparkly and lovely. Such a nice color, but the Galaxy Purple is really nice too. I've just broken it. The puzzle broke, but there we go. The actual top piece of this is really quite cool as well. So the actual dome part of it, this came out so well. It just came out so good. But it even has a locking system in there as part of the puzzle that you can see. And then it has a central bar that runs all the way through all of the pieces. And these kind of parts as well, these are the internal parts that hold it all together. These came out so nice, and again, only ever so slight post-processing on these, but all of the joints and everything else came out really cool. The spirals, everything else, this came out so nice. You can see how that all fits together there. If it focuses, there you go. Yeah, gotta love a bit of 3D printing. Anyway, it's time to see how our keyboard stand does. So what we're going to do is we're going to see if we put a keyboard at the bottom here on this one, is it going to be okay to have a keyboard on this side and then on here as well? How's it going to work? So let's take a look. So I have my polycarbonate Dollinger here. That looks good. The question is another keyboard going to work just here? Let's go get some more keyboards. I'm going to try and pick light keyboards, otherwise this is going to get very, very heavy very quickly. Let me grab a couple of light keyboards and see how it goes. He says light keyboards, trying to find ones that are not super duper heavy. But I don't want to pick something that's too small either. Okay, so as well as the Dollinger, oh, Vestacam time. Mustard Overlord is now following, there you go, Mustard Overlord, thank you very much for the follow, man, thank you. And we're going to try an Alice keyboard in this as well, purely because I can. It'll work better on this one because it's the 3-tier stand. Okay, now I need to try and pick this up without dropping any of it. Here you go, guys. 3-tier keyboard stand. The top layers will hold the Alice one now better because it's not going to catch on the floor, but the single wooden one. But there you go. That's how we make it. You guys not trusting me that it was all going to work out just fine. And that is the extent of an hour. You took them in lower? Maybe. This is how I was asked to design it, so that you could see each one tiered up, not staggered like half and half. So yeah. Can I try it with 3 TKLs? I'm not sure I have 3 TKLs available, but let me see. I can put a TKL. Let me put a TKL in the middle and see how that goes. How's that sound? Put a TKL in the middle there, and you can see then how it goes. Let me grab a TKL and I'll show you guys that. I think I've got one in here. Do I have one in here? Yes, I do. I have one. Okay, so we now have a TKL. TKL. Let's take out the polycarbonate canoe. That's the canoe. Just going to pop that to one side. And then we're going to pop the TKL in the middle. And then we're going to try and pick this up again without dropping it. If I drop this, guys, I'm not going to be happy. Like, it's strong enough, but like it's super duper heavy. There you go, guys. See how it offsets it from the board? It's not going to touch. Keyboard stands. Yeah, I get why you might want to tuck it in, Gio, but it's just a case of this is how the customer wanted it. N360, thank you so much for the follow, man. I'm just going to change the TKL and the Dollinger around so you guys can see how that changes it up. If I'm wary of any position on this, it's this one. Oh gosh, that's so heavy. So there you go, guys. You can see it's got about 8 mil gap between the rear of one board and the start of the next. So you can see it would fit 3 TKLs on it quite nicely. So there we go. Oh, you guys of little faith earlier on as well, telling me it wasn't going to work. Ugh. Man, that's so hard to pick up. Let me take a couple of boards off this. So this was the Lubriganti, which is basically an Alice style layout. And then we had the polycarbonate Dollinger, which I built on Sunday, which I am absolutely in love with this board. It's so good, it's so nice. And then we had the polycarbonate Canoe as well, with laser. It's the only board I've ever put laser on, actually. Yeah. Someone also asked me if you could fit a full-size board on it. I don't have a full-size board, but I do have a JL1 prototype. This is a JL1 Rev 1 prototype, which is why it's just in raw alu. And I'll show you guys that that sits on here just fine, but they'll be too heavy if I put the TKL on there as well. So I'm going to remove the TKL. And this isn't screwed together either. The two cases on parts are not screwed together, but you'll see that these are nice and wide, so they hold on like a full-size board just fine. It's full of fingerprints though, James. Like, it's absolutely covered in fingerprints. If you want this, James, you can have it. Like, you can have this top case. Yeah, look at the fingerprints. I guess you could polish it up if you wanted, but like, I handle this a lot. Yeah, there you go. Custom fitted gaskets all the way around. Look at those mill marks on the inside. And this is the proto bottom that's taken a huge beating. Look at the big scratch up here. Look at that. Huge scratch. Sold. Yeah, you can have that. Still looks so nice. Dude, like, I can't wait for these to come in. That grey colour is the actual grey colour of the all of the bases, but this top is it's just raw. You were gifted a sub earlier on. I think it was Dang Dynasty TV who gave you the sub, James. So there you go. You still haven't taken my money for the new J1 style gaskets. Yeah, I know, Gio. I haven't actually ordered them, is why. I will get some. This group buy has already happened. This group buy has already happened, I'm afraid. It's a long time ago, so there we go. It was available in red, blue, black, white. Those were the colours that were available for it, but it's already gone as a group buy. I can show you the other top, actually. Let me put the other top on this, as you can see what the actual black group buy top is going to look like. He says. There you go, that's the actual group by colour. It's a little bit dusty because it's been in the workshop. It does have the JO1 logo on it as well. There you go. Such a good looking board. I was thinking something else for a TKL, James. I was thinking something else for a TKL, and you know what I'm thinking. Yeah, J03 will be a Mini 1800, yeah. The J01 might run again. There will be some extras, not a huge amount, but there will be some extras. So watch out for the extras. Probably towards the end of summer, maybe September time, maybe a little bit before, maybe late August, early September for the J01 extras. Yeah. J01 would be pricey as hell right now, dude. Like, I've had a conversation with the manufacturer this week where they want to charge me more before they ship it. That's not been a fun conversation. They've also the price to ship has also gone up significantly. Like when I quoted it last year, I think it was going to work out about $9 a board to ship from China to me, and it's now looking at closer to $45 a board to ship from China to me. $45 each. That's a lot of money. Yeah. J04, the 40%, yeah, the J0.4 it's called. The J04 is the J0.4. The design's actually all finished on that. We just haven't prototyped it yet, but we will do it at some point soon, I would think. And the J03 design is like 90% there, I think, if James reminds me correctly. But I think that that's pretty much there as well. Probably some tweaks that we need to make because it hasn't been looked at for a while, but yeah. There is another BB8, BBTKL, BBTKL, maybe, soon. Would anyone be interested in a BBTKL from myself and James? Who knows? Yeah, 0.4. It's the J0.4, not 04, but yeah. BBTKL rings a bell. Yeah, it rings a bell to me too as well. I wonder what that would look like. The BBTKL, yeah. The J0.4 jacket, yeah, the J stagger because it's got the weird stagger on it. It's actually got a 7U bottom row as a J0.4. It's a 40% with a 7U bottom row. If you can hack that, you can hack anything. Take my money? Yeah, we'll see. Rust B257 says, is that a 70s era Datsun B series truck behind you? This is actually a Datsun 620, so it's not a B series as such. It's based after the 510 series or so, which was the B series, I believe. This is a 620, which I believe is the Y series that it's derived from. I could be slightly wrong, but I also have a Z as well. But this is a 1974 Datsun 620 right-hand drive, originally Japanese truck, imported this year, just earlier on this year. It arrived in the UK in February. No, the J0.4 hasn't sold already. We've done the design, we haven't actually prototyped it as yet, and we haven't produced any, but we will do it at some point. Like, that's just on my list of things to get to eventually. So maybe later on this year we'll prototype it and get a PCB made. I had a truck similar to that in 77, it was a 73 I believe. Man, yeah, I wasn't even born when this truck was made. I'm only 36, but yeah, this truck is cool as hell. Like, I've done a fair bit of work to it and got a few more bits left to do to it, but it should be on the road in the next couple of months. My mother used to have a couple of different Datsuns. I have three. Well, I have two and a vintage Nissan, which might as well be a Datsun. But yeah, I have three. Because the vintage Nissan is a P130, which is what ultimately became the Cedric stroke Gloria stroke Laurel line, which were all marketed as Datsuns here in the UK, but my car's from Thailand and it's on the way over to the UK in a couple of weeks' time. So yeah. Any leaks? I don't have any J0.4 files here, but I'm pretty sure there's a render on my Discord server. If you join the Discord server and look for the J0.4 archive channel, you can probably find some renders of it. Would you ever do a stream talking about the design and the process, etc., of designing keyboards? Yeah, James and I could do that. We could talk you through it. Our process is kind of weird because I tend to draw what I want and give James a list of bullet points and say, this is how I want it to be, and he just draws it all up in CAD. But I use pencil and paper to draw out my designs. I'm not a CAD expert. But if you want to scroll back through the early parts of the stream, you will see that I designed this using the file for this, and I showed all of that in Fusion. So I went from this to this in Fusion, which is from a single keyboard stand to a triple tier keyboard stand in Fusion, and we now have a fully prototyped part. It's good fun, good fun. This was before I was born and she came to the UK, but she always used to have a Leyland Mini Cooper as well. Nice, nice. Yeah, I'm interested to see what else Russ has had. Russ B257, what else have you had, dude? I love your beard. Thank you, man. Thank you. Thank you. It's going to get a trim tomorrow. It needs a little trim, so I'm going to go to the barber's. So interestingly enough, I have my COVID vaccine tomorrow. So if you get the opportunity to have your COVID vaccine, go get it. That's my official advice to you. It's not advice, it's just do what you want, but you know, I like to think that people are going to go get the vaccine. So I've got to have that tomorrow, and I'm going to go to the barber's just before I have my COVID vaccine as well, now that the UK is slightly more open than it was. Slightly more open. BBTKL leaks. Yeah, the fact that we've talked about the BBTKL, that's the leak enough, dude. That's a leak enough. That's a leak enough. Prototypes soon. More leaks when we get the prototypes. Do my second one, need to book in for it next week? Yeah, I'm not sure what I'm getting, so I'll find out tomorrow if I have to go back for a second one. I'm going to assume that I do have to go back for a second one, but I'll find out more details tomorrow when I attend. Would love a stream on how you did it and what you went through. Yeah, so this whole stream, earlier on, the whole stream, the first half of the stream, I literally drew this in CAD and showed people how I was drawing it in CAD. Fusion 360 was open, I was showing it on stream, and this went from a single keyboard stand to this monstrosity that you see here. In about 20 minutes, we went through the whole process. So you can scroll back through the stream and watch it, or I'll put it on YouTube tomorrow and you can watch it there. Catch up with chat again. I'm in the process of selling my classic Mini, sad to see it go. Oh man, that's sad. Are you in the UK? I'd love to see some pictures. Send me some pictures. Drop me a message on Discord, send me some pictures. Cars I could talk about all day long. All day long. I'm gonna go see another car tomorrow actually. Take the stable back up to 9 cars, I think, maybe if I buy that one as well. We'll see. Got my second shot this weekend. Nice, man. Congratulations. Yeah, go do it. Russ says, I've had lots of different vehicles. The 57 in my username is my year of birth. I was 20 when I had the Datsun. Nice. So I have 3 Datsuns. I have this. I have a 1976 Datsun Fairlady Z S30. That's a 280Z. It's got a 2.8 litre straight 6 overhead cam engine in there. It's the stock LCV's engine. The car's pretty much all stock apart from the suspension and wheels, which are a little bit more modern, and the brakes as well. I also fit power steering to it. This truck is stock. It's 100% stock. Everything is stock on this truck. There is nothing that's upgraded at all. It still uses drum brakes on the front and the rear, and it has a Kingpin style wheelless hub assembly rather than the standard ball joints because it's that old. But I am thinking about converting it to ball joints from a 720, which is a later version, and putting some nice disc brakes on the front. That's probably a future conversion. I also have a 1989 VW Caddy, which is parked outside. You can't quite see it, but it is parked outside. Let me put the, it's black, it's dark outside. But I do have a 1989 VW Caddy in green as well out there. I also, in the far corner of the workshop, have a Peugeot 306, which is a 3-litre turbo diesel from 1999. I have the 1965 P130, Nissan P130, which is coming. I also have a Mazda CX-5 from 2018, which is pretty much brand new, and then a Peugeot 107, which I bought brand new, which is my first brand new car ever that I bought when I was, 26? I'd had a couple of cars by that point, but it was the first car I ever bought brand spanking new, so I've got that as well. Ash Krabiti, thank you very much for the follow, man. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. I exist therefore, I think, says, if I take an open source keyboard project and print a case and PCB, would you consider it to be a custom keyboard? Yeah, I think that's pretty custom. If you're taking something that exists and tweaking it to your own style and shape and form and function, I think that's pretty custom. Yeah, it's certainly customized. Shadow Pat says, I got the Oxford one. Good joke, because I was never smart enough to get into Oxford. Oh man. It did kill me off for 2 days though. Fair enough. I'll find out tomorrow what I'm going to get. When I design a keyboard, I usually do the key layout first, the PCB, and then finally the case. Yeah, layout is usually the first directive, and then mount style is usually my second directive that I go to, and then the case kind of builds around that in my head. And then James, I'm not sure what his process is, but I usually tell him how I want the case to be, and he does all the CAD work for me. I have a 1984 Ford Ranger that has nothing power on it and no air, 2.3 inline 4 and 4-speed manual drum brakes and manual steer. Wow, yeah. So this is manual drum brakes, manual steer. It's 4-speed column shift, so the gears are actually on the column, but it's manual. It's not an automatic. But yeah, there's got nothing nothing new on it, basically. The Datsun Fairlady Z, that's 1976. As I say, I have upgraded that to power steering. The car is really long at the front, so without power steering, it's so difficult to turn and park that I had to have power steering fitted. The power steering turns off when it hits about 15 miles an hour though. So once you're on the main roads, it's pretty good, it's pretty tight. That has been upgraded as well on the brakes to disc brakes at the front, but it still uses drum brakes on the rear. And the suspension's been upgraded, but everything else is stock on that car. On the Nissan P130, that's 100% bone stock. It's 100% stock, which I'm really excited for that to arrive. Gilbert, good evening. Thank you very much for being here. 4-speed shifter was on the floor. Yeah, this is column shift. Like, it's difficult for me to show you on this camera angle, but the actual, hold on, let me twist the camera around a little bit. The actual column shift is on the side of the steering wheel. Let me see if I can reach in and show you guys that. You probably can't see it. Let me zoom the camera in on that bit of the car. Let me see if I can show you the column shift. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it from that angle, but that's the column shift just there. I'm not sure if that's showing or not quite, but that's the column shifter. Gotta love a good car. There we go. There we are, back to normal, back to normal. Column shift manual is so difficult to get used to. Like I only have manual cars, I've never had an automatic, but column shift, a whole new kettle of fish. Column shift is wild, that's awesome. The whole truck's awesome, it's so cool. Even the little roof rack, how cool is the little roof rack? I had that custom made by a guy in Thailand. Really cool, really cool. MBS Media says, I'm actually quite excited to get PCBs in for PCBs of my 3 other keyboard designs and my microcontroller I've made. Nice, congratulations, man. This hobby is addictive, yeah. I went the other way and I just buy keyboards and then make stuff. It's fun, it's fun. Yeah, the bushings have all been replaced on that. The last thing to do is actually replace the bushing, the pin that holds the actual column shift arm into the column shift mechanical parts itself. That's the last thing to change and do, but all of the bushings through column shift, throughout the whole of the column shift, have been replaced. So I actually 3D printed some and used some 3D printed ones first of all to make sure I got the size right, and then we created some on the lathe out of brass. So we just made some brass bushings. So they're fully brass, all lubed up. It changes gear nicely now, apart from the fact that I need to change the pin that holds the final arm into the mechanism. So yeah, that's the last thing to fix. Hoping to make a job out of this, whether it's commission PCB design or finally getting to run my own store. Just walk before you can run, that's all I would say, dude. Just take your time, make sure it's good quality products that you're pushing out. It's very easy to get into PCB design, but it's very hard to hit the kind of higher tier like the people like Yankar and Will do. There's very much a fine line, I think, between being able to design PCBs and doing a really good job of it. So just run, walk before you can run, take your time. But yeah, if you ever want any help with that, just drop me a message and let me know and I'll see what I can do. Okay, so would anyone be interested in these if I sell them? These take up a lot of material, so these are not going to be cheap. I imagine I'm going to have to sell these like 30 quid each, just because of the size of them. But maybe I'll put these on the store, maybe. They're strong as hell, they're really rigid. Dead Spirit 2001, thank you so much for the follow. Thank you, man, I appreciate that. The chunky boys are so big. So big. I might do some tweaks and changes just to neaten up, make these more rounded because they don't need to be this angled anymore because it's not the bottom. So I might just tweak these and make them a bit more rounded on the tops. I might make this a bit at the top a little bit thicker, just so it looks a little bit nicer. Can bring this line out a little bit. Same here. I might just drop this this front edge just down a little bit, just to make them look a little bit nicer and more rounded. But solid work. Pretty happy with them. James is down for one. James, you know you just get one. You know. I need something to display all those Petrichor prototypes. Dude, I found my original Petrichor prototype the other day. I found it just in the back of the workshop. It was nice. I would like to have one. Cool. I'll get some on the store. Yeah, so when I cut these out normally, So this is just prototype, and this is just from Word. So you can see that I cut them like this. What I actually do when I lay them out for actual production is I lay them out slightly differently. And you can see here, this is basically a finished sheet. So you can see here, this was one side, and this was the other side, and then another one, and so on and so forth. And basically, these are two left sides, and these are two right sides. So two left sides, two right sides, because the left and right sides are slightly different because of the orientation of the text. Bear in mind that these haven't been cleaned, these are straight off the laser cutter, so they're a bit dusty. But because of the orientation of the text, you have a left and a right, which are mirror images of each other. Apart from the text, they're the same. So we have to do a left and a right. But when I do two of the same, they're cut out of the material like so. That's how we cut them out of the material. So I will absolutely do the same. It's just for a prototype, it doesn't make a difference. But when we're doing production runs to make sure we use the material the best we can, we absolutely cut them like that. Can we see it with boards on? Dude, you've missed it. I had boards on earlier on. We had an Alice style board on it. I'm going to have to put light boards on this because I don't want to put too much weight on it. It's really, really heavy with 3 boards on it. And then we have a polycarbonate canoe. And then we have the Lynn Dollinger as well. This is so hard to pick up now. There you go. Keyboard stand. There you go. We also tried it with a TKL on it and a few other boards as well, so you can scroll back and have a look at that if you want to. Something I noticed from, yeah, we talked about that. Don't know how big they are relative to the bed though. So the pieces of material are actually quite small. You can see on the laser cutter, if you look in the top small part here, the piece of wood we actually used actually only comes up to here and here. So we do have all of this area of the laser bed that we aren't using. It's just the material came in that size rather than me ordering a custom size material for it. That's what the pattern in the printer bed is. Yeah. So the issue is when we're cutting plywood actually has like a resin that holds the different layers together. That resin kind of melts and drips into the laser bed, and that's what leaves the marks that you can see. When we're cutting just plastics, those marks don't appear, and when we actually laser over the top of them, those will disappear over the next couple of weeks as well. So as we use the laser more, that will disappear too. Have I thought about cutting small key rings out of the center parts of leftover materials? Maybe. It's something we might do in the future. I actually have a few of these sheets, and they were positioned perfectly so that the edges are all of a certain thickness, mainly because I want to use them for something else as they appear like that. Jazuga, thank you so much for the follow, man. Thank you so much, I appreciate it. So yeah, so I want to use these for something else. So I've cut them so they have like a frame of certain dimensions. So yeah, they're cut that way for a specific reason. I have quite a few of them. I have some black acrylic ones as well that are cut like this. So this is black acrylic, but they're cut that way for a reason. The material won't be wasted. It's a good workout at least, dude, it's so hard. A PT logo keyring could be a cool little bonus thing. Yeah, maybe. Look like birds kissing. It's kind of cute. I can kind of see that, it's kind of cute. But yeah, maybe we'll do some PT logos. Trellis for the garden, no. Think more about my stream table that I'm making, which the parts of the wood are actually here for, although they missed a piece. When I ordered it, I ordered all of the pieces of wood cut to size, and one of the pieces of wood is missing. So I can't actually build the stream deck at the minute. But once I can, you'll see me build a stream station. It's going to be 1.75 meters tall, 2 meters wide, on casters, on wheels, and I'm going to be able to move it all around the workshop and stream from anywhere in here rather than just in a fixed location. Rock salt lamp, thank you. Salt rock lamp even, get the words from the right order. Thank you so much for the follow. Thank you, man, I appreciate that. Have you considered doing a design for smaller stands, cut out the need for alu rods? So the thing is, like, if we want to use these as customs, like I could absolutely do design where when we cut this part out, we actually cut an acrylic piece that goes across here or whatever else. Like that's absolutely possible to do. And there's a few different ways we could design them. The problem is they're never really that strong. And this way they're super strong. Like this will hold 5 kilograms with no bones or shakes about it, and it won't break or bend or buckle, and it's just great. If you do it the other way, like I'm always a bit worried that acrylic's going to fatigue over time, whereas these aluminium rods are so strong. Like that's super strong. Like I physically can't bend these anywhere, and it's not even putting any stress on these because of the way it's designed. So I prefer not to. Other people can do that if they want, but I'm not going to sell a product that I don't trust and believe in myself. 3D printer's finished. It has, yeah. Shall I go get the 3D stuff off the 3D printer and show you guys that? So this is the 3D print sheet. These are stem tweezers that we've printed off. Oh, I shouldn't be showing you that because it's a sale. Hold on, let me get rid of the best I can. There we go. These are 3D printed stem tweezers that we're using. We give these away for free with anyone who orders any switches. This is the standard Prusa sheet, so if anyone's interested in 3D printing, this is how easy your prints come off. Like, you just flex the board a little bit, and then they just pop off. Now the cool thing about these is we actually ran out of filament halfway through printing them. So they are mostly this lovely beige kind of golden color, but on the underside, they're black. You can see here, that's this is actually a bridge that prints in midair. So you can see that that's actually the beige color. So the black only goes like a really thin layer. But yeah, you can see that the black on one side and beige on the other, because we ran out of filament halfway through. But the really cool thing about this is that they hold stems together without any pressure. So you don't need to put any pressure on that for it to hold and grip onto a stem. They're pretty cool. These need a tiny bit of post-processing, but not much. And they just pop off this here. These are my own design. They are inspired by other people's designs. These are my own design. They're slightly shorter and have more pressure to hold onto the stems than some of the more open source designs. So yeah, I just give these away, print them off and give them away. Anyone who buys switches from my store, you get a free one. Simple as that. I'm going to put this back in the 3D printer and then show you how I control the 3D printer. We'll set it going, doing exactly what it's printed, and print another 10 off. So I'll show you how that works, guys. So I'm just going to put the printed sheet back in here, the print sheet. What you can't see is that I'm closing up the cabinet there as well. There is a cabinet that holds it all in place. So now that's all sorted, I can show you guys how I control it. So I have an app on my phone called Telegram, and in here I have a bot that I can control, and I can just send a message via the Telegram app over to the 3D printer. So I can type in /files, hit enter, and it gives me a list of all of the files on the machine. Vestaboard's going again. Let's see what that was. That was Salt Rock Lamp. Thank you very much for the follow. Thank you for the support. There you go. You are immortalized on the Vestaboard for a short period of time until someone else messages. So there you go, guys. You can see it's got all sorts of different files on here. I'm going to browse to the file that I need. It tells me about the file I'm going to print. Printed this 32 times on this printer. It's going to complete at 3 AM if I start printing. I'm going to hit print. It's going to check with me one last time that I actually want to print it. I'm going to hit print again. And now it's started the print job, and it sends me a picture. And if you watch the printer in the top, in the screen, just on the side, so in the screen just here, where is it there? You will see that it'll start printing in a few minutes. It's going to warm up, it's going to do bed leveling, and then it will start printing. Space Cables Raglan, thank you so much for the follow, man. Good to see you, my dude. Good to see you. Thank you very much for being here. Telegram is called Telegram. Telegram is called Telegram. The bot is one that I coded through the software that runs on the Raspberry Pi. So in the 3D printer window, you can see there's a little blue box in the bottom corner. That runs OctoPi, which is a kind of like an operating system based on the standard Raspberry Pi operating system, but it works purely for 3D printers, and it's basically an extension to that you can then link to the Telegram app. Telegram's on the App Store, you can do that, and it's just a bot that works through that. It's dead simple to set up. Just Google Telegram for OctoPi, and you'll find the link on how to set it up. But I have two bots, one for each of my 3D printers, because I actually have two, both in cabinets, just over there. I don't think I can show you them because my whiteboard's in the way, but yeah, I have two 3D print cabinets just over there. But there we go. So in a second, you will see the printer start to move. It'll start moving around, and it will start to bed level and check itself. I'll make it a little bit bigger so you guys can see. There you go, that's going to start going in just a couple of minutes now. It's just warming up at the moment. The bot's open source, it's not my bot, I just use it. It's one of the extensions for OctoPi, and it's just called the Telegram app, and it links into Telegram so you can use it yourself. Yeah, it's dead simple to work, and it doesn't need a 4G connection. It works via SMS as well, so you can SMS it, and you'll still get everything done that you need to do, so you don't actually have to have an internet connection to set it going. Although your printer needs to be connected to the internet wherever that is. Geeky Ed, thank you very much for being here. Thank you so much. Thank you. Lord of Sarcasm, if you do want my my stem tweezer file, I will share it with you. It's not open source, but it is a file of my own design. 3D printer's starting to move now. So I will share it with you. Or if you buy some switches from the store, you get a pair of these for free anyway. I give away free lube, free stem tweezers, free switch openers with every single purchase of a pack of switches, while stocks last. The lube won't always be there. The lube will run out one day, but we've got plenty left. So you see the 3D printer's just done its bed leveling, and now it's about to start printing. So it's just going to extrude a line across the front edge. That's just getting rid of any filament that's blocking it up. And now it's going to draw a line around the outside so you can see the perimeter of where it's going to print, and then it'll start to print. Lord of Sarcasm says, I'm in India and I can't buy switches without paying a lot of shipping or taxes, otherwise I would. Ah man, that sucks. I'm not sure if there's any local proxies for you for any switches or anything. I apologize if there's not. They look easy to use, and the ones that work like syringes, I ended up not using mine because I found it hassle. So yeah, so these hold onto a switch without you actually holding any pressure on them. They're pretty cool. They're pretty cool. Let me show you. So if I grab a switch, one of the switches that I'm not allowed to talk about. So you can see here we've got the stem tweezer. We push the stem tweezer, that does take force. We pop the switch in there, or the stem, you can just use the stem. Now I'm putting no force on these tweezers at all, and it's holding onto the switch really robustly. Like, it's not going to come off at all. I can do whatever I want with that, it's not going to come off, like it's just stuck there. But it holds onto the switch really nicely. If you're just doing the stem, then you can lube the stem without having to touch it. And you can actually use the tweezers to pop the stem back into the switch, and you can just gently let go of it. And then you can pick them up that way as well if you need to. Like, no pressure on this. Just hold onto one leg so you can see. Look, they just hold onto the switches just as they need to. Yeah, cute switches. Coming soon. Okay, so you can start to see now on the 3D printer, it's actually got the shape of one of these that it's printing. And what it does is it prints this black side. So you can see there, that's the bit it's printing now, the black bit now. This part here, it doesn't print till later on because that's actually a bridge and it's floating in midair, so it prints that in the air. That part there is all printed in the air. You can see there, it's raised up. Prints that in the air. Ilum KB, Louis is a great guy, so I'm sure that he'll do you whatever you need, whatever you need. You're a small local proxy, we're in a couple of vendor servers together. Oh, right, nice. Sorry, I apologize if I didn't realize who you were. I apologize. So there you go, guys. You can see the 3D printer's now working. It's now on the second one. It'll lay out basically 10 of them, and then it's just going to do layer upon layer upon layer upon layer. It's going to go from there. Right then, guys, I think that's pretty much it for the stream today. It's time to find someone to raid. I'm just going to make this a little bit smaller. you guys aren't interested in the 3D printer. But it's cool I can share this with you. It's cool I can share the 3D printer going and everything else. When both printers are going, I'll probably have both cameras up so you can see both of them moving. But thank you very much, guys, for the subs today. There's been more subs than I expected. Thank you so much for that. I genuinely don't deserve it. But thank you very much for the support, everyone. Let's see if we can find someone to raid. Let's see if we can find another maker who's online that we can raid. Let's have a look in makers and crafting. Let's see who is live. Don't necessarily want to do keyboard. Let's find someone else to raid, someone who's doing something cool and fun. Let's see. There's got to be someone doing something that's not keyboard related, but is making stuff on Twitch. Okay, so there is a plastical chemist streaming in Portuguese. Oh, there's someone building a BRRRR Mark III here. So there's someone building a BRRRR Mark III. Let's go raid this guy. He's actually building a BRRRR Mark III, which is the same printer as I have. So yeah, let's go raid this guy. I'm gonna go check him a follow and then I'm gonna raid him. Okay, so he's called Buana. So let me set up this raid, guys. Okay, so we're going to go raid Buana. I want you guys to tell him that you like 3D printing, that you're going to have some really good fun watching his print stuff. But we're going to go raid him. And just be really nice to him, guys. Give him some really good time. Like, just be really genuinely lovely to him. And I'll see you all again soon for another stream in the next few days. So thanks very much, guys. Let's take this raid over to him. Be really nice to Buana and tell him you think his content's great. Yeah. See you later, guys.
Okay, we got one. Seems like this X-axis back actually has X lines, and a 623H bearing. Just one on my Y-axis though, I think. My bag. We'll check. Who rated me? That is J Protypist. Thank you for the raid, man. You love Prusa? Excited to watch the build? Thank you. Thank you. I have bad internet in here, so cut in and out. I don't know if you heard that. Great, man. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so we need the